start with the front. What have you done on the front? I see you have a CBI front bumper, but I'll just let you do the top.
Okay, so it's been a long time since I've done like a rig walk around, so it's actually, this will be good, and I'll reference my people too, because everyone keeps asking me to do a rig walk around, because lots has changed. But like you mentioned, I have an aluminum CBI off-road fab bumper. I went with aluminum because it just keeps the front end a little bit lighter, so I don't have to crank my coilovers down so much, which gives it a little bit softer ride. Okay. The downside of aluminum is that it can gouge and whatnot, but I haven't had any issues. I've hit some big rocks and stuff, and you'll see even over here it's kind of rashed up, but I kind of like it that way, you know, like it proves that we put it to use, and it's totally fine with me.
What about the winch? What do you have for the winch?
So the winch, I'm keeping it super simple. It's a Smitty built 9500 XRC with a synthetic winch line and a factor 55 front link, and it's never let me down. I mean, I know Warren is like the top notch of winch companies, but I've never had issues with this, and I've pulled a ton of people out, so I just keep running it.
That's good to know. I see you have a factory fog, or are those aftermarket?
So these are the factory fogs with the CBI bumper. They kind of allow you to put you can use your factory fogs in there, and then I have actually LED light bulbs that switch. So if you turn them off and turn them back on, they switch from white lights to like a neutral yellow to like an amber. So you can have like any option you want, which is kind of cool. They're called Basla LEDs.
Oh, nice.
And I've never seen anything like that before, so it was kind of a cool find. For aesthetics, for the front end, I added a TRD grill. It's pretty much identical to a TRD grill, sorry, TRD Pro Grille, but it's just a lot cheaper. And I added the white lettering, and then I have TacomaBeast headlights, which I've really liked. So thank you guys for putting out an awesome product.
No, it looks awesome.
They look great. So yeah, these are sequential LEDs, so they actually send like a yellow beam across when you turn on the flashers, and then they actually have a full white LED strip. So they're super cool.
One thing that I've always been interested in is your hood. I know that this is an aftermarket hood, and you actually, I think you pop that.
No, that's exactly right. So I have it's a fiberglass TRD Sport style hood. I wanted the TRD Sport hood, but I didn't want to pay that price that Toyota charges, and so I actually got this hood from Roadrunner Off-Road, and I painted it myself, and it was a challenge. That was one of my first videos, was painting the whole front end.
You actually painted it yourself?
Myself, with no experience.
The fenders as well?
No, these are unpainted. The old fenders weren't painted, but this was such a nightmare. These are push style hood pins. I didn't like the little string with the pin, and so you just push these like that, and it releases the hood. And that's it. Oh. And that's it. And it's actually much lighter weight hood than your stock hood, so it kind of helps. And it's super messy in here right now because we've been wheeling, but I've kept it fairly simple. I have like a red top Optima battery, which isn't super expensive, not the nicest, but it's never let me down. I run a fridge off of it, and I have a Blue Seas fuse panel, which is running all my lights. Currently running Cali raised LED lights. Looking forward to switching over to Heretic Studios pretty soon. And just a couple relays, and other than that, I've done an AFE air intake, which increased the kind of the engine sound, like gave it like a nice throaty exhaust sound. I really liked it, and I think I noticed a little horsepower gain. I'm not entirely sure.
You got it?
Yep. So when you're done, you just
kind of push it in.
Nice. Just push it in. The only downside of that is every time you take it to get serviced, they pull your hood latch. Yeah. And there's no way to put it back down, and so then you hear like your alarm goes off the second you start driving. So you got to get a screwdriver in there. It's a pain, but it's like it's got hood pins. People, don't touch it. It's got fiberglass wheel flares or body panels from McNeil Racing, and I love the look of it. We're excited to get it wrapped pretty soon here, and we have them on the rear of the truck as well. It just brings the whole truck together. I waited quite a while to put the rears on, and I don't know why I did that, because it really looks
super nice.
It's really aggressive, but it's also nice that like I don't have to worry about any wheel rubbing at all anymore. Like after I did the cab mount chop so that I could run 35-inch tires, we chopped it back pretty aggressively and welded new plates in, and after that we don't rub anymore. So
now, I noticed you also have the Baja designs. Baja kits.
Baja kits.
Yeah, the Baja kits lower control arms. How do you like those so far?
Yeah, so it's a +2 long travel kit from Baja Kits, and they're a sister company of Brenthal Industries, which actually makes and sells trophy trucks and races them in things like the Baja 1000.
They build some awesome trucks.
They build really awesome trucks, and so this kit has been really great so far. The wheel travel has been insane. You have some of the negatives of owning a long travel Tacoma, like it squeaks, it has more maintenance, it's a little harsher CV angles, so you can end up with issues. But as far as the performance goes and that like floating on clouds feeling when you're driving, it's exactly what I was looking for, and I've been stoked about it. So it's been super fun. We have King suspension all around with locked off-road pin style bump stops, and so they're kind of tucked in there, they're hard to see, but when the lower control arm comes up, it slaps that bump stop. It just gives it such a smooth, it really smoothens out the front end. It's really awesome. Yeah, so I have an aluminum skid plate from CBI Off-Road. This one I actually tacoed it in Moab. We tried to hit some whoops and the truck it slammed into a whoop and it just tacoed it. So we got a new one on order, and I actually went with steel this time. Not that it really would have made a difference, because we destroyed it.
No way.
Try to get you guys the footage. That one, if you look under there, it's just kind of.
Oh, dude.
Let's see.
What do you have? Sliders?
Yep, the sliders are from CBI Off-Road, and when people ask me like what's the first thing you should do to your truck, or like what are the best mods, I think wheels and tires. Well, tires, you just have to get wheels in order to be able to run tires, but tires are one of the most important things as far as like getting traction and being able to properly off-road. But if you're on a budget and you don't have enough for like tires and a lift and everything, sliders is like one of the first things I would do, because you can get over anything if you have sliders. If you can just get like your center of gravity, if you're riding on sliders, get your center of gravity over a big hump, you can just drop right into anything. And I've seen stock trucks with sliders be able to go everywhere this truck can, and sliders are like, they're cheap, all things considered, for what they protect your truck from.
No, definitely, dude.
I'll show you this. These ones have so these ones have the step out. They're bolt-on sliders, so they were shipped to me. I was able to install them myself, and they have this little kick out. Now the kick out can kind of be a pain when you're like putting kids in car seats, which we use this truck for everything. I'm like Mr. Mom, we take our kids everywhere, and so it's kind of a pain in that aspect. But like when you're on a tight trail like the ones we've been hitting today, I have confidence that if I get too close to a tree and the truck moves past, this kick out will push my back end away from the tree so that I don't crush my fiberglass on the tree. So that's what that's for. It's supposed to push you back straight onto the trail so that your tire can come in and protect the truck. So they've been really, really awesome to have. I prefer this style when it comes to off-roading.
Flush one, right?
Over to a flush one, yeah. The flush ones are still great, but this is just, it does so much for you.
What about wheels and tires?
Yeah, so I have 35 wheels, so they're 315 75 16 BF Goodrich KM3 mud terrain tires. I've had them on there for probably 35,000 miles now, and they're still looking really good. I still get a ton of traction. These have been by far. They
look new.
They look new, right? They've been by far my favorite tire. I was running the K02, the all-terrain.
Okay.
Love that tire too. But when they came out with the KM3, they're really just the quietest on the road mud terrain that you could ever find, and they last forever. They're a little bit more expensive, but totally worth it. And as far as the traction that you get with them and the sidewall protection, I've been a huge fan of them. These tires, and then on top of that, I've just so my passion about off-roading and Toyotas and BF Goodrich tires all kind of came together, and I ended up partnering with BF Goodrich on some things. So I've been on multiple trips with them and met the people behind like who made these tires. And what was really cool for me was that they approached me after I was already running BF Goodrich tires and just said like, hey, do you want to be involved in this stuff? So I definitely am biased because I love those guys, but in all honesty, they've been phenomenal for me. I haven't had any issues, so really excited about them. And then the wheels, they are Method Race Wheels standard, so they're kind of the cheapest of the Method Race wheels. But
they look awesome, dude.
But they look great, yeah.
They look really good.
And they're 16-inch wheels.
What's the back spacing on them in the offset?
There's 0 offset on these ones. Yeah.
Dude, and your truck still has a nice stance.
Yeah. Well, it's got wheel spacers in the back.
Okay.
So, yeah, Spider Tracks wheel spacers.
Cool.
These are Dakar leaf springs, and I put the Expedition leaf pack. So it's an additional leaf spring that goes on either side, and that allows me to carry. To maintain my lift height, which is 4 inches in the rear, it allows me to maintain that when there's a heavy load. So like a canopy, a spare tire, all of our gear when we're camping, and we'll eventually have a rack up here with a big tent. So, or like when we're towing a trailer. So for a while I was towing my overland trailer, and I didn't want it to be like, you know, leaned way out the back. So we put the Expedition leaf spring. So when I'm driving around the city with an empty truck, it is a little bit firm. But on trips, like when I actually care about the truck's performance on these off-road trips, it's usually just like really, really smooth. And then recently I added these 14-inch King long travel smooth body shocks with an adjuster. And so if I'm carrying more weight and I want it to be higher up or firmer, I can just adjust that to firmer. Or if I want to float over some bumpy stuff, I can adjust it to softer, which has been really nice. Cool. And it has the Archive Garage shock relocation kit, which allows you to put up to a 14-inch shock without cutting through the bed, which is awesome. It's the only company that allows you to do that without cutting into the bed. So it's got a spring perch, a shock perch on your axle that drops it a little bit lower, and that's totally adjustable. And then when you weld it on, so it's adjustable when you're welding it on, and then you put this tower in, and you can just stick these shocks in. It looks like almost like factory. But it allows you to put this awesome shock in there. So sweet, I've been really happy with it.
So what do you have for your bumper? I see you have.
So this is the CBI Off-Road High Clearance Rear Bumper. What it does is you have to cut part of your bed sides away, but that allows you to basically bring the bumper up higher and give you more clearance. So like your stock, if you didn't cut the bed sides off, your bed sides would come down to about here. And the chances of you crushing that are pretty high if you just have a normal steel bumper. So we actually cut this off, and it brings it up. And so if I come down on this, which is pretty likely, I've noticed in just my experience taking the truck off road is that you damage the rear end a lot because you're not really thinking about it as much when you come off of stuff. And so having the high clearance bumper, which brings everything up in the rear end, it's almost like it's not the same as having a really short wheelbase truck, but you have a similar experience off-roading as you would because you're not dragging that rear end everywhere. Like every time your nose goes up with like a normal truck, you'd be dragging your hitch on the ground. Well, you don't do that in this anymore, so it increased the capabilities by a ton. I don't know how many times I had been stuck before with like my hitch just stuck in the mud. Holding the tires up off the ground. It doesn't do that anymore. I'll show you back here.
I actually love this, guys.
Your normal truck would have your hitch receiver down here, like way low. So CBI has all that stuff taken out, and underneath your license plate is a hitch receiver, and so you can just slide your hitch in and hook up, and you're totally good to go. You're not going to scrape all that crap off. And I tow with it all the time, and it does totally fine. You have 2 points for shackles. It moves your power accessories things. It moves that up higher. It comes with LED lights for your license plate, and it's got some really cool details in it. Like they even have the CBI logo like right there, which I think is super cool. Like looks wise, looks really good. And it comes with, it allows you to run your backup sensors. A big question you get a lot is if you got like the premium tech package like I did on this truck, you're gonna have your blind spot monitors. When you switch to a steel bumper, there's no good way to keep those blind spot monitors unless they were to put a big hole in your bumper and have that thing there. And so structurally, it wouldn't make sense. There are some companies that do that. So if you want a steel bumper like purely for the looks, you could keep your blind spot monitors, but I let them tear those things out and I haven't looked back, and I just drive like I normally would, checking my blind spot, and I haven't had any issues. So I still have my backup sensors, but I don't have blind spot monitors. The canopy is a new addition. When I bought the side-by-side, I needed to find a new way to camp and take the side-by-side with me, because I was running a 1969 military trailer that I had converted into an overland setup.
That thing was sweet.
So cool. It killed me to let it go, but it didn't make sense anymore, because like I could either take the overland trailer or take the Can-Am. I couldn't do both at the same time. So this is my new endeavor, and it's not done yet, but we have a Lear canopy. And I had to do some modifications in order to get it to fit around the fiberglass bedsides. I pretty much faced a choice of like, do I go back to stock bedsides so I can just fit the canopy, or do I cut into a $2,000 canopy to try to make it work?
What did you decide to do?
We cut it, so I cut it, and I did the work myself. That side actually looks better, so let's look at this side.
I'm like, what did you decide to do? You obviously cut it.
So as you can see, like the Lear would have a lip that would come down over your bedside and go all the way along here. Well, that's not going to work because I have a wider bedside. So I actually cut this myself by hand, and
you did a great job, man.
And got it to fit. It actually lined up pretty good.
Dude, really
it
good.
Still seals, like the weather doesn't get in there. It's still waterproof, and I put a thin piece of steel in there that bolts down into the bed to help support the weight, so that the fiberglass isn't supporting everything. And we're going to add a Prinsu rack to the top.
The top rack?
Yep, the top rack, which will bolt right in. And then we'll run our tent. I have an 8-foot tent from Free Spirit Recreation. It's a really beautiful tent. We're going to run that across. So it'll run about to here. And that'll be our camping setup, so that we can camp and tow the Can-Am. And I think I'm going to add an internal bracing system that bolts into the bed and comes up and basically bolts run through the canopy to just to verify, or just to support,
to strengthen it,
everything. It just strengthens everything. And I have let's open it up. I'll show you.
Dude, you're going to be adding a lot of weight.
Yeah, it will be a decent amount of weight, and I probably won't do it all the time. But I have Cali raised bed stiffeners, which not a lot of people know this, but if you do run a tent, the composite bed, it doesn't really support your bed structurally enough to run like a tent. So if you have a bed rack system in a tent, it'll actually press apart your bed over time, and you'll start to get like a warping. And so these keep that from happening, especially if you're going to be like off-roading with a tent on top. These are a good idea, good investment. They're fairly cheap, and they just bolt in using some of the existing hardware. And there's a little bit of drilling involved, but I made a video about it, and it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And then inside, I know it's kind of messy, but I have Cali raised mole panels, which allow you to carry tools like this axe. I have a shovel in there. It just organizes everything. I have mole pouches that carry like little hand tools that I can Velcro in and strap in. And then I have one full-size spare just strapped to the bed using the Cali raised bed. They have like these little fasteners that you can just bolt into your bed. Allows you to clip your tire in. So it doesn't make the best use of space as like a swing out would, but I like the look of having the tire tucked away and hidden, and it keeps everything nice and clean. So that's in there, and the canopy has been life changing as far as like, what's yours?
Yeah.
the canopy. So like I work as a firefighter, and I move around like fire station to fire station very often because I'm still kind of new. And so whenever they have a fill, like somewhere where they have a gap and they need to fill it, they send me to a different station. And so we have bunker gear like our pants and our jacket and our helmet and our mask and all this stuff, boots. And then on top of that, you need bedding, like all your blankets. You need your uniform, your Class A uniform. You need your class everything. And then you need then I'm a YouTuber, so I got my laptop, my camera bag, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like it's like literally like moving. I feel like I'm in like a college dorm, like moving my apartment every single time I work a work shift. So now it all just lives in there, locked. And when I go to a different station, I pull it out, and it can. So it's been life changing having this. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah, I've loved having the canopy. Yeah.
Let's talk interior, man. What do you have?
So my interior is nothing super fancy, and we didn't really prepare for this video as far as cleaning it out. So you guys are just seeing it like it is, and that's fine with me. I'm gonna roll these windows down so you can.
Oh, we have a friend in there. What's up, buddy?
Okay, so
You behave so well.
there's not a whole ton going on in here. We keep it pretty simple. I have Expedition Essentials T-PAM is probably the coolest thing that's in here. It's a mounting bracket that holds cell phones, tablets, and I have a little camera mount. So when I do like vlogs on trips, I just screw my camera in, a full-size DSLR, and we can do like interviews while we drive. That way it's all hands-free for our episodes and stuff like that. So that's been super cool. As you know, the 3rd gen Tacoma comes with a little GoPro mount. That's kind of a cool accessory. And this charger from Expedition Essentials, it's a Blue Sea speed charger. So it charges just as fast as the speed charger that you would plug into your wall. And so I can put my phone in there, charge it from like 0 to 100% in like 2 hours. And so running that up to the GoPro to let it run non-stop, if I wanted to, as like put it on a loop and have it loop as like a what do you call it, a dash cam?
Yeah.
I can do that if I want to, because it keeps it powered. This model, this is a 2016 TRD off-road with the premium tech package. And so it came with a sunroof, which I thought was pretty sweet. I liked the sunroof. And so on my Prinsu rack, I actually left like an opening, because these are like these panels can go anywhere. So I left an opening so that I can like open it up and have like that nice view. So then I have a 67's Designs phone mount, which is built specifically for off-roading, or for like something like a supercar, like something that's gonna have like a lot of G's on it to bouncing around. So it holds your phone in place really securely, which I had a lot of like mishaps before where you're like off-roading, then your phone like bounces out, and so I wanted something super secure. So I got that, and they're the ones that made the carbon fiber arm for my camera. My wife made me this sloth, which is pretty neat.
That's awesome.
It's like the slowest animal on earth, so it's really fitting, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much the interior. This truck has the wireless phone charger, which is handy, but I found myself using this speed charger a lot more now. I have like a little 3D printed thing. There was like normally a cubby hole there, and I liked like the OEM style like push buttons. So I have a front facing camera on the bumper for when we're in tight trails I can see stuff, and then I have a rear facing camera. So anytime I want, I can push this button and my rear facing camera turns on, so I can like watch my trailer load.
And it'll go in the dash.
Yep, it just appears on the dash. I have one switch for my pod lights and my light bar, just one switch I have to push to turn everything front facing on. When I get the new Heretic Studios lights, I'll probably come up with something else. I have one switch for rock lights, but I haven't been running them recently. I actually took them out, so the switch is still there, but I want to come up with something like an S-Pod or some kind of other switches. I have some blanks or openings down here as well that I could use. But that's pretty much the interior. There's nothing like too crazy about it. The back seats, there's nothing in them right now, but I took those little bins out and I actually cut some foam to fit like my pistol and my shotgun and my knives and some ammo. And so when it's all in there, you flip the seats up and you have all your like weapons available, like super James Bond.
This video just got banned.
Yeah, but I don't have any of that stuff with me, so it's not really worth showing. It's probably full of dog hair. So to wrap up, we haven't talked about recovery gear. Okay. So I have Maxx Tracks. I have just 2 traction boards that sit up on the roof. Those things come in handy like all the time. We've used them for my truck. We've thrown them under other people's rigs, and everyone's always really impressed by them because you don't have to get the winch out and all your everything else.
Dude, I never really used them until I came to the snow. That's when I really saw like, dude, you know, because out mudding you'll use it sometimes. Yeah. But dude, out here in the snow you need them all the time. Yeah,
they make a huge difference. I'd like to get a second set so you have 4. So you just put them under each tire and just drive right out of anything. It really does make a difference. The times that you would need like a winch would be like if it's just slippery like all the way up, because it sucks to move the boards out every 10 feet or whatever, but they do make a huge difference. I love them. In addition to that, we talked about the winch that I have. I have a little box. It's like a little Army recovery box, that like an ammo box. I keep a pulley in there. I have a tree strap that I keep in the truck so that I don't have to wrap my winch cable around something. What else do I have? And I have a tow strap for like towing someone out with. That's pretty much it. I kind of keep everything pretty simple. I don't want to carry a ton of gear. And then for airing down, we have the in-deflate system, which can,
Oh, you showed us
Yeah,
that.
I showed it to you.
Dude,
So I have the
that was so
end-deflate
cool.
system. Yeah, it can drain 2 tires at the same time or fill 2 tires at the same time.
That was really cool to see.
Super cool. I tried it out for the first time today, and I'm sold on it. Like, and then I have some other stuff from Boulder Tools for like from stem pullers or like the little guys that you send around and to deflate your tires. But
cool, man.
Pretty much everything and all that stuff lives in the truck at all times. So
you got yourself one, incredible rig, man. All right, guys, that wraps it up for Maxx Powell's walk around. If you guys are wondering why we are drenched and soaked and dirty, I'm gonna make sure to put a link down below to a video we did, kind of like just an adventure we had. Max, thanks a lot for taking us out on an adventure.
Absolutely, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah.